I'm Vishen Lakhiani, the founder of What's the company called again? Hi everyone, I'm Vishen Lakhiani, the founder of Mindvalley, and welcome to this special webinar on how to use hypnotherapy to help remove subconscious blocks that might be holding you back from every dimension of your life, from having the mindset of success, from having abundance of wealth, from having incredible health, and from having thriving relationships. So I'm excited that you joined us, and I don't know how you found this masterclass, but odds are you were searching for information on hypnotherapy, or maybe you're a big Marisa Peer fan, or you're a student of Mindvalley and you know the quality of these events that we put on. So you're in for a treat, because what you're going to learn in this class is the science of how to apply hypnotherapy to remove subconscious programming that may have been installed upon you when you were a young child. And our guest today is the world's foremost teacher in this process. She's been voted Britain's #1 therapist, and her name is Marisa Peer. I have to tell you though, why I chose to bring Marisa Peer on this event. You see, many of you might be familiar with my book, The Code of the Extraordinary Mind. The book became the #1 book in the world for several days last year. It was the #1 book on Amazon across the entire planet. And that book features a number of truly remarkable teachers, but there's one teacher in that book who stands out because she is cited in the book as an influence on my life more than anyone else, more than Elon Musk, more than Richard Branson. She has more mentions of a name in that book than anyone else, and that is, of course, Marisa Peer. The question is why, right? Well, think about learning versus transformation. Now, when you learn something, you might get an aha, you might get an insight, but the problem with learning is learning often doesn't last. Transformation, though, stays with you. To be transformed is to go beyond just learning. It means a massive shift in your beliefs, in your worldview. And that mind of yours, once it's expanded, can never shrink back to its original size. Marisa creates transformation in people. You're not just going to learn, you're going to transform. And the reason she does it is because she's not just going to talk to your logical, conscious mind. She speaks right to what we call the subconscious. You see, when we are children growing up, we all know that we have both minds. And our conscious mind is what is picking up facts and data and knowledge from schools, but our subconscious mind is what we call the meaning-making machine. It's trying to create meaning of the world. But because we are children, often we interpret the world in the wrong way. An unjust word from our mom or dad, a comment from a teacher, something we hear on television gets installed in our mind, and it creates beliefs about ourselves. Hopefully some of these beliefs are positive and good, but sometimes it installs beliefs that are unnecessary and beliefs that hold us back. I remember my first session with Marisa. We were in Croatia. Marisa had just spoken on stage at Mindvalley's festival, A-Fest. She had just been voted the best speaker there. And so after the event, I asked her for help, and she put me through a hypnotherapy session. This was way back in 2015. I regressed back to my childhood. I saw myself in a car with my mom and my dad. I was trying to understand, you see, why I was having struggles with money. And in that regression that Marisa put me through, I overheard a conversation between my mom and my dad. I must have been 8, maybe 9 years old, but they were talking about how money was hard to come by. And all of these memories came to me, and the memory was, I must not ask for too much, because if I ask for too much, people I love will suffer. Marisa helped me zap out of that feeling that I couldn't ask for wealth, I couldn't ask for abundance. And the next thing I knew, my business that had been stagnant for a while started taking off. Now, it wasn't just that. A year later, I went back to Marisa because my eyesight had started deteriorating. As I had gone into my 40s, I started developing astigmatism. Marisa did a session on me to heal my eyesight. 1 year later, I was able to take my glasses from 20/40 to 20/25, which means that I'd gone from wearing spectacles 40% of the time to wearing glasses maybe 5% of the time. All of these, from my abundance mindset to my health, were flipped around because she was able to tap straight into my subconscious through her unique approach called rapid transformational hypnotherapy and reprogram me. And I know it sounds funny, right? Reprogramming a human being like you reprogram a VCR. But scientists are finding this to be true. There's a powerful aspect to hypnotherapy. We don't fully understand how it works, but it works. And it's incredibly powerful. Now, what makes Marisa different is that she is so good at it that typically you go to her once, and in one session, you see a transformation. It took me one session with her to shift my abundance, one session with her to help me with my eyesight. Now, in many traditional hypnotherapists, you have to go for multiple sessions. It gets expensive. Marisa calls hers rapid transformational hypnotherapy because she wants to liberate you from having to go back over and over and over again. She says all the power lies within, and when you flip that switch, you gain that power, and you are no longer having to scratch that itch, because the itch is a symptom of something deeper. It's a symptom of a self-esteem block. It's a symptom of some mistaken belief you took on as a child. She eradicates those beliefs. The symptoms disappear. So here's what you got to know. We're going to be bringing on Marisa shortly, and you're in for a treat. She's going to cover the key ideas behind understanding your subconscious so that you can rewire it. You're also going to go into a full-on session with Marisa to help liberate you from certain blocks. You will learn about Marisa's new quest with Mindvalley, which is a 35-day program that many of you I know are going to join, that you go through as a group with Marisa guiding you for 35 days to completely heal all your subconscious blocks that we get to uncover. And when you stay till the end of this masterclass, you're in for a special bonus because we're going to give you a special lesson from that quest that you will get to experience firsthand here. So let's get started with Marisa Peer. It is such an honor to be asked to introduce Marisa. I got to read from this giant, massive iPad because she has so many incredible things about her. She's the author of 4 best-selling books. She was named Britain's Best Therapist by Tatler magazine. Her clients include CEOs, billionaires, Olympic athletes, many Hollywood A-listers. Think about movies that you know are playing in the cinema right now, massive movies. And I can tell you, odds are many of those A-list celebrities are Marisa's clients. She has worked with the British royal family. And get this, just a few weeks ago, she was nominated for 4 Stevie Awards. The Stevie Awards are awards given to successful businesses. Marisa won Woman of the Year, Entrepreneur of the Year, the Lifetime Achievement Award, and her organization won the Gold Award in the Health Services category. She has been listed by Tatler as one of Britain's best 250 doctors and has been called a great British pioneer by Men's Health magazine, and she's been called the UK's leading motivational speaker. And by the way, who decided that? It was Ernst & Young, the big accounting firm, in a survey they did with their audience. And this is what many incredible individuals have had to say about Marisa Peer. Desiree, the British music icon and multiple award-winning singer, said, "Marisa's work is profoundly effective. She gets to the root of the issue and liberates you from its vice-like grip." Anna Richardson, the famous UK television producer, said, "I've trained with Marisa. I've had personal therapy with Marisa, and she's contributed to my books. I always acknowledge Marisa as being a massive influence on my life." Jason Rudolph, the actor, lost 100 pounds because of Marisa Peer. Jason Roberts, the famous footballer, said, "My footballing skills have changed dramatically and for the better." Stephen Wallace, chef and winner of MasterChef 2007, said, "I no longer use food to cope, and I can finally visualize myself as slim." That's incredible, the sheer diversity of clients that Marisa works with. Molly Parker, the famous writer and renowned artist, said that within 2 weeks of having just one session with Marisa, she stopped smoking and drinking for good and developed a completely different attitude to food. And of course, Mindvalley students around the world have raved about Marisa as one of their favorite teachers ever on the Mindvalley platform. So let's welcome on set Marisa Peer.
Thank you. That was quite an introduction.
Marisa, it's such an honor to have you. So, are you ready to get started?
I'm absolutely ready.
It is amazing, Marisa, how fast rapid transformational therapy can work on people. I mean, that, for example, that famous writer we mentioned who gave up smoking after one session, right? And it's incredible what happens when you learn to override your subconscious or to put healthy beliefs in your subconscious. Now, I can think of no better story for that than your own story, because you didn't start out like this.
So yeah, my own life is interesting in that I'm so dramatically different then to how I am now. I was the most insecure kid. I could never make eye contact with anyone. My brother and sister both went to fee-paying school and I didn't, because I wasn't bright enough to go. I didn't pass the entrance exam. They did. My parents thought it would be a waste of money to spend fees on me, and both my parents tried to persuade me that I should be a nanny because they just didn't think I was bright enough to do anything else. And I thought I was hideous, I thought I was stupid. I was quite a bookish kid. I mean, I had friends, but I really wasn't outgoing at all. And I spent a lot of time on my own. I guess in a way you'd say I was a nerdy kid, nerdy with no self-belief. And I don't really know exactly how that changed, but I do know that later on I was told that I could never, ever have children, and that was a blow to me. But even then I remember thinking, I shouldn't let this in. So something in my mind was already turning to say, you know, it's all mindset, it's up to you. In fact, at one stage I remember thinking, I'm glad my parents think I'm nothing because I'm going to prove to them I'm something. And then I remember thinking, wow, if they always believed in me, I wouldn't have that burning drive to show them. And I see that with many people who make it. It's that I'll show you, I'll prove it to you. And so when this doctor was saying, look, you can never have children, I had that same voice in my head going, I'll show you, I'll prove to you. And at one time I said to him, you need to stop now because I'm not going to let this in. And that's when I decided to do the work on myself. And it must have happened really quickly because I was just beginning to wire myself to not believe that when I found out I was pregnant, and that certainly wasn't planned. And then I became a single parent. I loved having a baby.
So Marisa, so you were told you would never conceive, but something flipped in you.
Yeah.
And you ended up getting pregnant.
Yeah, something flipped in me. The thing that flipped in me was that I realized it doesn't matter what anyone else says. It only matters what I say. So when this doctor said you can never have children, a voice in me said, don't listen to him, listen to yourself. And I actually said to him, you need to stop now because I'm not going to let this in. And I've learned since that one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself throughout your life is to not let in words that will hurt you, to say that's your opinion in a sea of opinions, but I'm choosing to not let it in. So I left his office thinking I must not let that in. I must actually erase that and let in something else. So I decided to tell myself that I'd get pregnant really easily, I'd have a baby. In fact, actually I had a belief that I'd have a baby and it would take some time, and within a few months I was actually pregnant, so it happened much quicker than I planned. And that's when I began to understand that when you rewire your mind, it can happen like that.
So it was that first spark of becoming pregnant, despite being told you could not, that made you realize that your beliefs overrode everything else.
Everything. Your beliefs override everything. It doesn't matter what other people believe, it's what you believe. It's like saying to someone who believes that a dog is going to attack them, but it's a tiny little Yorkshire Terrier, look, it's on a lead, it can't hurt you. But if your belief says it's going to get me, it's going to bite me, it's going to attack me, it doesn't matter what other people tell you. Your beliefs override everyone else's beliefs. So if you have a fear of heights or a fear of flying, people go, look, read these statistics. Can't you see that flying on a plane is the most safest way? No, my head tells it's going to crash and I'm going to die and I'm hurtling through the air in a steel tube. And so when we start to look at it, we begin to see, oh, it's the beliefs you tell yourself that empower you or disempower you. And that's actually very good news because you have a choice. And so I started to learn how important it was to tell myself better beliefs. And it
And I was going to
worked
say,
so
Marisa,
quickly.
that's a really good example because Marisa actually helped my wife overcome fear of flying. She listened to your audio, and it wasn't even with a direct session with you, it was just the hypnotherapy audio that you provided, and she overcame her fear of flying. So it's so much about the beliefs. But what I don't get is, you were about to become a nanny.
Yeah.
What shifted there? What broke that pattern?
But I just I realized actually when I started to look into being a nanny and I was looking at working with children, I also realized that all their problems come from their parents. So I was looking at troubled children, and I went from deciding to be a nanny to deciding to work with troubled children. But actually that's quite a tough job because you have 3 patients, mother, father, child. So how I went from a nanny to a hypnotherapist is that I realized that working with children was hard work because you have to go through their parents. And eventually, I was very young, I was only 21. I ended up going to Los Angeles completely by fluke and working for Jane Fonda in her workout studio. And that was my turning point because every 3rd woman there was bulimic or anorexic or body dysmorphic or had exercise compulsion, and a lot of men too. And they were doing what everyone does, trying to change the external. I'm going to go on that treadmill for 2 hours to burn off the can of Coke I drank. I'm going to do 6 hours of aerobic classes because I need to be thin. And I thought then, this is amazing, they're doing it all wrong. None of them understood that this is an internal problem. And that's when I really got tuned in to helping people on the inside. I realized I was teaching classes to people, and every 3rd one had some kind of damage. They had such bad body image. I'd have the head of Fox or the head of CEN stressing because they ate a cookie, and their whole worth was what they looked like, what they weighed, and whether they had a bit more tissue, body tissue, than they wanted. And that was when I got fired up to study hypnosis, because I found that hypnosis was more effective than anything else at changing the internal dialogue rather than working on the external.
So you became a hypnotherapist, and how long have you been doing it?
Amazingly, 33 years.
That's almost 3 decades. But there's something unique about you, Marisa. Your clientels are the who's who, and what everyone says about you is that you're the one-visit hypnotherapist. They come to you and they see their subconscious block disappear after 1 session. So you created your own system called Rapid Transformational Hypnotherapy. What's the difference between regular hypnotherapy and RTT, which is Rapid Transformational Hypnotherapy?
Well, a lot of regular hypnotherapists do this thing about come along and first we'll talk about your problems, and the next session we'll talk some more, and in the 3rd session we may do a little relaxation, and the 4th session we'll start to look at your problems. And I'm thinking, if you went to the dentist with toothache, you wouldn't go, well, let's talk about your problem this week and next week, and maybe in the 4th week I might start to extract that tooth that's hurting you. So all my clients came in pain, emotional pain, physical pain, and they want to be fixed like that. And I realized that I could do it all in 1 session. In fact, I started to call my work skipnosis because I skipped through all of that, floating on a cloud, walking down a valley, smelling the daffodils. Nobody cares about that. They care about rapid results that are permanent. And so with working with my clients and seeing what they really wanted, they wanted fast results that lasted. And so I took everything I could do and realized I could do it all in 1 session. And it lasted, and I now teach my method to doctors. And in fact, last year I had 8 doctors watching me going, this is amazing, because we hear about this, but we never get to see it. And then when I was at the Royal College of Medicine, one of the doctors said, all these illnesses are autoimmune illnesses. And I show them how to get the client to talk to their immune system. Sounds kind of crazy, but we talk to ourselves all the time. And your cells do listen. And when you learn to dialogue with your mind and dialogue with your body the way I've designed it for you, you get outstanding results.
And the results are truly outstanding. So I want to share this, this particular scientific study. It was written about in the New York Times. It involved a doctor called Dr. J.B. Mosley. So Dr. J.B. Mosley wanted to see how much of our health issues were really caused by beliefs. Now, you've all heard of this thing called the placebo effect, right? A doctor gives you a fake pill and a mild headache or a mild indigestion disappears, even though the pill is fake. Your body believes the pill is real, and it causes the placebo effect to kick in, where your body essentially heals itself. It's the power of belief. Your belief is placed in that pill. So J.B. Mosley, in this article by the New York Times, wanted to see if the placebo effect would apply to treatments that typically require surgery. So he picked arthritis of the knee. Traditionally, people pay several $1,000s to go for this particular surgery, which involves cutting open their knee and treating the arthritis in the knee. J.B. Mosley asked for 10 volunteers, but only 2 of the 10 volunteers actually had the full surgery. 8 basically were put under anesthesia, and then he cut open their knee and sewed it back up. Now, when they woke up, they could see a scar. So as far as they were concerned, they just had this expensive surgery. But 8 of those guys had no surgery at all. It was simply a placebo. Now, what happened is, at the end of it, all 10 of them ended up healing their arthritis. And this proved the medical science that our beliefs are so powerful that even stuff that once we thought required surgery can be fixed when the belief is fixed. And that's really why I want you guys to pay attention to what you're about to hear next, because when you understand just how powerful your subconscious mind is, you see that 4 of the biggest dimensions of your life, your wealth, your mindset, your relationship, and your health can all go through a remarkable shift. And that's what we're about to go into. So before we go there, first you got to understand, what is the subconscious mind? Marisa?
Well, your subconscious mind, some people call it the superconscious mind, is very different to your conscious mind. First of all, it's much more powerful. It has all the control, and it doesn't deal with logic. It's the feeling mind. It responds to powerful words. It only lives in the present tense. And when you're dealing with your subconscious mind, you've got to understand what it's all about. It's a bit like someone giving you a Ferrari when you've never driven a car and go, here you are, make the most of that Ferrari. The Ferrari will run you if you don't know how to handle it. And your mind is a bit like a Ferrari. It's amazing, it's powerful, but you need to know how to handle it, because if you don't, it will run you. And there's quite a few rules of the mind that I really love, and I will talk you through them all in the course, because when you understand that your mind's job is to work for you, then you better understand your job. Your job is to dialogue with your mind in a way that guarantees good results. But if you don't know how to do that, you get bad results. And when you dialogue with your mind, you see, your body is run by a network of intelligence which is influenced by your mind. That's a fact. But when you can influence that mind, which in turn influences your body, you can have almost anything you want, but you've got to know how to do it in a specific, fast, highly effective way. And that's what RTT is. We keep hearing about neuroplasticity, but neuroplasticity again means getting the mind to dialogue with the body, interrupt negative thoughts and replace them, and have peak health, be in a peak state. And anyone can do that when they know how.
Fantastic, Marisa. We can't wait to get started. So what you guys are going to go into next is basically 5 rules for reprogramming your mind. Have your notepad ready, because this is really important stuff. When you understand these 5 rules, and remember, these are actually 5 out of actually a much wider set of rules. Most of that is going to be in the Quest with Marisa Peer, 35-day program. But what you're going to learn with these 5 rules will already help you understand how you might have accidentally taken on false programming and what you can do to start healing that.
So when you understand the rules of your mind, because they're the rules of everyone's mind, all the people around you. It just makes it easier to change yourself and to understand them. And here's a rule of the mind, so powerful. Your mind cannot hold conflicting beliefs, and it cannot hold conflicting thoughts. And when you have teenage daughters who have body issues, it helps to understand that anorexic and bulimic teenagers have conflicting beliefs. They love food, they hate food. Your teenage kids want to do well in their studies, but they love watching Netflix and spending all their screen time with their friends. And so it's very hard for teenage minds when they have one belief: I really want to do well in school, but I love sport. I want to do well in school, but I love Netflix. I want cake, but I want to be a size 0, so I mustn't eat anything. And it makes the mind very, very confused. Your mind is a bit like a laser trying to go towards what you want. But when you say things like, oh, I'd love to be successful at work, but I couldn't give up my weekends, or, you know, I want to have my own business, but I'm really scared of crowdfunding in case no one invests in me. You're telling your mind, I want it, I don't want it, I want it, but no, I don't want it at all. And now your mind's in a spin. It's no longer a laser, it's become more like a tumble dryer going round and round, backwards, forwards. And when you understand what you're doing, you start to get clarity. When you tell your mind what you want, using really specific words, it works. So when I worked with people on weight loss, and I take them to train with Marines, and when Marines are running through mud, they sing, and the mind goes, oh, I get it. You're singing because you want it. But people who are heavy go, oh, I hate exercise, it's painful, it's boring, I could be at home watching TV, and then your mind says, that's where you need to go. So if you're working with children, have children in your life, it helps them so much to understand that the mind cannot hold conflicting beliefs or thoughts, and how you make it work for you is to choose beliefs and thoughts that work, and just wipe out, erase, stop referring to, stop thinking the thoughts, the negative thoughts that conflict with the good ones. I want to have a great relationship. I couldn't bear the pain if I was dumped. There's a conflicting thought. And as long as you think that thought, you won't have a happy relationship. When you start to say, I'm having a great relationship, I'm so lovable, I'm going to meet the right person, it will last forever, we'll complete each other. Your mind goes, let me take you there now, but when you go...
So you're saying, Marisa, that we got to speak about what we want in the present tense.
Yes. Not only have you got to speak about what you want, you've got to not speak about what you don't want. So many people do that. You know, I want a job, I don't want to put in those crazy hours. I want a baby, but don't they keep you up all night and drive you crazy? I want love, but...
So what is the opposite of that for the job and crazy hours? What is that?
Well, you got to go, I want it, I want it, I want it. Even if it's not true, you go, how lucky am I to spend all weekend working on my website? Give you
And enjoying it.
Yeah, and love it.
What about the case of bulimia?
Well, that's very clear. You have to say to yourself, I like eating really nourishing food that keep me at my ideal weight. You can't go, I love cake, but it makes me fat, so I got to eat lettuce, but that's so boring. And I hate it because your mind has no idea what you want now.
You're right.
Because you're jumbling it all up. What I want, what I don't want, what I like, what I don't like. You know, when I was given my first book deal, I was given a lot of money to write a book, and my first thought was, God, it's so lonely writing a book. I've got to shut myself away all by myself. I'm really young, and write this book while all my friends were out. And what do you think my mind heard? You don't want to write that book. No, you want to go out. And you know what I started to do? Tidy all the forks, all the silverware, sort out a sock drawer, empty my clutter, because I told my mind I didn't want to write a book. I didn't mean to tell it that, but that's what I did. Only when I started to go, I love writing, there's nowhere else I'd rather be in the entire world than sitting here today writing that book. And when I said that, I sat there all night writing and thought, wow, I love writing. Because the ironic thing is that when you tell your mind you want it, you actually want it. It's like saying, I've got to run. I hate running. My feet hurt, my legs hurt, my butt hurts. Everyone laughs at me. You don't have any success. When you start to run and go, wow, I love running. The wind in my hair, this is amazing. What happens is you actually start to love running. So just remember, if you haven't got what you want, you must have conflicting beliefs. Look at your beliefs, straighten them out, keep the ones you want, focus on those, and stop referring to the stuff you don't want until it ceases to exist.
Now, here's a piece of homework I want you guys to do. Think about something you really want in life that you've been trying to get for a while and it's not coming to you. Odds are there's a conflicting belief there. It could be related to money, it could be related to love, it could be related to health. When you're done with this masterclass, I want you to try to identify what that conflicting belief is and then try to create a new script. Now, for those of you who want to go deeper in that approach, you will learn about it more when you enroll in the Quest with Marisa Peer, but more on that later. Marisa, let's go to point number 2. Your mind wants to stay with what is familiar while avoiding what is unfamiliar.
Yeah, it's a thing that therapists and teachers find the most vexing. Our mind actually loves what is familiar and really wants to stay there. And anyone who's had a small child will notice they want the same bedtime story, the same breakfast cereal. They don't want new stuff, they want familiar, because hundreds of years ago, familiar is what made us safe. We lived in walled cities, we lived in tribes. We didn't venture off to meet new people because that was dangerous. In evolutionary terms, it was actually not a good idea to seek the unfamiliar, but now we're safe. Unfamiliar is good, but we still have minds that are wired to avoid the unfamiliar and stay with the familiar. However, all you have to do is make what is unfamiliar super familiar. And anything that's familiar and negative, make it unfamiliar. Here's a silly example. If you have 6 sugars in your coffee and cream and you take it out, it tastes absolutely horrible. But if you persevere and go, well, we'll make this familiar. I'll make this better taste familiar. In a matter of weeks, you start to like it. And then you try the coffee the way you always had it, 6 sugars and cream, and go, oh my God, that's disgusting. How did I do that? Because although our mind likes what is familiar, not unfamiliar, you can choose to make anything familiar, particularly praise. That's a biggie. You see, if you're never praised and someone says, oh, I hear you're the best salesperson in your firm, you go, well, not really. There's somebody much better than me. And in the next office, they're way better than me. You see what people do who have not had any familiarity with praise. Not only do they reject it, they add in what's familiar, criticism. And some really great advice for you today is make praise familiar by praising yourself, and make self-criticism so unfamiliar by banishing it, ending it, stopping it. The more you do it, the easier it is, and then it stops being what you do and it becomes who you are, and it's incredibly powerful.
So does this mean that if there's a habit or a practice that we're trying to bring into our life, it's going to be painful for a while, such as, say, taking up a new exercise routine or taking sugar out of your coffee? But once it becomes familiar, it ceases to be painful. But most people give up before familiarity sets in.
Yeah, and they make it worse by going, oh, I hate it like this isn't fun, it's so boring, I don't like exercise, or I liked my coffee better before. They don't understand that you can make it familiar much faster by going, I like it, I like it. Your mind doesn't know you're lying to it, and it actually doesn't care either. So if you want to make some new habits familiar, like if you're bench pressing, there's no point in going, oh my God, this hurts. I don't know how I'm ever going to get to grips with this. Actually, I hate it. And it's given me wrinkles with all that grimacing I'm doing while I try to bench press. But if you go, I love it, love it, love it, like it, like it, like it, you make it familiar really easily. So you can make anything familiar by going, I'm doing this, and I'm telling my mind I want it, want it, want it. And then it becomes easy, and you wire it in so much more rapidly.
And so we can self-talk ourselves into...
Absolutely.
into having an appreciation or a liking for some habit or some behavior that we know is good for us.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I'm sure there are more complexities to that you go deeper in your program, but for now that principle holds true.
You've all seen the stage hypnotist. Someone eats an apple and eats an onion while telling themselves it's an apple, and their eyes don't water, and they go, "Oh, this is the best apple I've ever tasted," even though it's an onion. You can talk yourself into anything or out of anything. It's really your choice.
Now, let's go on to idea number 3, rule number 3. You make your beliefs, then your beliefs make you.
Absolutely. We make our beliefs very early on. We start to form beliefs, and once we form beliefs, those beliefs begin to form us. And when you understand, first you make your beliefs, and then your beliefs make you, you might as well make your beliefs amazing, because your mind truly does not care for what you're told is right or wrong, good or bad, healthy or unhealthy. Here's an example. Every time I'm stressed, I get the flu. Every time I'm anxious, I get migraines. That's a belief that will make you if you keep it going. Or you could say, I do get stressed, but the human body is designed for stress, and rather like a battery, as long as I get some sleep, I'm fine, and I can take on a lot. I catch up with rest later. So you always have a choice. I ate that cake, now I'm going to gain a pound. Or here's a better belief. I ate cake. I don't eat cake a lot, but my metabolic rate will adjust and burn that off. It doesn't matter what you say, it becomes true. In fact, scientists have discovered that people who say, if I look at a cake, I can get fat, actually can, because the stress of believing that causes your body to make cortisol, and cortisol helps your body lay down fat. So you can think yourself thin, you can think yourself fat. I know that sounds extraordinary. I remember years ago going out to dinner with some friends, and 3 of them got food poisoning, and the 4th one, who's very posh, said, my body would not dare to reject any food I choose to put. I thought, what a great belief he's got. My body would never reject food. And you see, mothers pass on these beliefs to their children. Oh, he's got a nervous stomach. Oh no, she's not good with that. She's scared of us. Our family, we're not very confident people. And children pick up these beliefs, and then they turn into their beliefs. And instead of saying to a child, oh, don't worry, darling, I couldn't do math. I was terrible at spelling, just like you. I could never speak to friends because I was really shy, which becomes a fixed belief. It's a habit of thought that becomes real. Better to say, darling, you've got such a great personality. You're warm, you're funny. People like you. Look how much I like you. Everyone will like you like I like you. Many people, without knowing it, wire their children for failure and all kinds of problems. Many teachers who say, well, the brains must have run out when they got to you, or, oh, your sister's so much smarter than you. What happened to you? It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So it's very important to understand dialoguing with yourself in a super effective way to get super effective results. It's not hard when you know how.
You know, Marisa, you just made me realize that how sensitive a child's mind is. So I want you guys to just think about this. So when I was young, I remember every time my parents or relatives would introduce me to someone else, they would say, oh, and this is my son Vishen, he's really shy. And they kept reinforcing that and reinforcing that and reinforcing that. And my entire teenage life, I just had a fear of people. I never went out publicly. I never went to parties. I was the loner. In my mind, it just became that I was incompetent with people, that I was too shy. And to this day, when I am at family gatherings, even though I put on big events and I'm a social butterfly with my friends and I can be on stage and speak, when I go back to my family, at a family gathering, I never dance. I sit by myself. I don't talk to other people. You just made me realize that, holy cow, I've been living that belief as a child well into my 40s. And I could never understand why I'm such a different person at family gatherings than I am at, when I don't have family around. And I'm beginning to see that maybe I got accidentally programmed.
You did.
So those of you who are watching, I want you to think about this as well. Is there any belief that you might accidentally be installing on your kid? And remember, our beliefs really can have a profound impact on our lives. My son was once diagnosed as being asthmatic by a doctor, right? And this was a doctor in our home city. And so for 8 months we had to put my son on breathalyzers, and we told him, and unfortunately he was too young to understand asthma, but we had to make him breathe with that device, which is dangerous because the side effect is it stunts a kid's growth. And then 8 months later, we decided to get a second opinion, and the second doctor, who was a far more qualified doctor, said, Derek, your son doesn't have asthma. And all of a sudden, what happened is we stopped treating him like he was an asthmatic kid, and you know what? His health improved. He just doesn't have asthma. So what was interesting was we believed our kid has asthma because of a bad diagnosis from a doctor, and he showed the signs of asthma. But when we got the good diagnosis from a truly competent doctor, and we stopped believing he had asthma, his breathing problems stopped. They literally stopped. It was as if our beliefs impacted our son. Now, I know this has been studied. It's called the Pygmalion effect. And what the scientists found is that you can even have school teachers. So they did a test where they told a particular group of school teachers that there were a handful of kids in their classroom who were identified with incredibly high IQ. But the teachers were not to give any sign to these kids that they had high IQ. It was just for the teacher's knowledge. Now, it was a fake study.
Of course.
These kids that were identified didn't have any differential in their IQ compared to the other kids. But what happened was, at the end of the year, the kids who were identified with high IQ, they started showing higher academic performance. They were never told. The teachers, though, believed that these kids were special, and so the kids became special. Now, when you think about this study, commonly called the Pygmalion effect, think about what you could be doing to your kids as parents, and think about what your parents may have accidentally done to you when you were a child. Now, the good news is, a lot of these beliefs we can help clear when you start practicing programs such as rapid transformational hypnotherapy, because it is easy to go back in and shift these beliefs. And I gotta seek your help with the shyness one now. Now let's go on to idea number 4. Your thoughts and beliefs form a blueprint that you are wired to meet all your life, even if it's limiting and sabotaging you.
Yeah, that's so true. We have thoughts and beliefs, and actually you're just reminding me of one of my clients who said that she saw her father take pills every morning before he went to work. And you go, the stress is giving me an ulcer, and she formed a belief, work makes you sick. Now, if you form that belief, work makes you sick, work stressors make you ill, people always leave you. If a child watches mother having several boyfriends over the years and they all hurt her and abandoned her, that becomes a blueprint, men leave. Or another one I've seen is my parents stuck it out to the end. They couldn't stand each other. They always fought, and I married someone and I'm sticking it out. Why? Because there's a blueprint. You just take it. There's no way to fight back. So we learn what we live, and small children look at the world going on in their home and it becomes a blueprint, and the subconscious mind does everything to make that blueprint become a reality. In fact, there's been some amazing studies showing that if a mother gets her period and goes, oh, the cramp, oh, I feel awful, oh, I've got PMT, even if her daughter is adopted, she will have almost identical symptoms. If a mother says, I'm going to play tennis now, periods, that's nothing, it's just part of life. The daughter will almost have identical symptoms. We are programming our children every day. They're like little mini computers. They absorb everything. I want you to just understand you have formed a blueprint, and your mind is doing everything it can to reach that blueprint. And that can be wonderful if it's a good blueprint, and terrible if it's a negative one. So decide to change the blueprint. You can make your own blueprint. It doesn't have to be fixed. If you saw your mother stressing over the bills, if your mother got antacids out at every meal because food gives you indigestion, decide not to have that belief. You do make your beliefs. They're your beliefs. You can choose to believe whatever you want. I had a wonderful mother who was an out-and-out hypochondriac, and I knew early on I'm never going there. I decided to shun medicine because I knew that she was operating on a blueprint. She was an evacuated child in the war who got attention for being sick. It's a very powerful blueprint. Once you buy into it, you'll stay with it unless you do something like RTT. But I went the opposite way. My blueprint is health, wellness. I don't like that blueprint of illness. Some people like it, I don't.
And so what was going on with your mom there was she noticed as a child during the evacuation of London during World War II that she got more attention when she was ill. Well, and so that can lead to an adult having hypochondria.
Well, they were farmed out to people they didn't even know. All the children from cities were billeted with people in the country they didn't know. Some were lovely, some weren't. She missed her mother. And every time she got sick, her mother would come to see her.
I see,
and
right.
so she learned that being sick met all her needs. Here's a blueprint that we often have when you're a baby and someone picks you up and puts that milky, creamy stuff in your mouth. It meets all your needs. And many people, when they're stressed, go, I need butter and toast, cookies and cream, ice cream, because the blueprint is something sugary and creamy and sweet, makes you happy. No one says, I'm so stressed, I need celery, I need some steamed leeks, I need some fresh peas. Because there is no blueprint. The blueprint is if we come home from school and our mother gives us a cookie, you'll find so many people go, I have a really good breakfast, I have sushi for lunch at 4 o'clock. I just need to get all that candy out of the vending machine. What happened at 4? I used to go home from school and I always got cookies and milk. And there's a blueprint. Many people say, I come in from work and at 6 o'clock I must have a glass of wine. I put the key in the door and then I need a glass of wine. But on a Saturday, I don't do that because I don't come home from work. So we have these fascinating blueprints that are in there. But you can change the blueprint very quickly.
And often we don't even know where they came from.
No.
But they came from our interpretation of the world as we were a child.
And here's, in America, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, there's the blueprint. Just eat loads of sugar, eat whatever you like. It's an eating bonanza. There's no point in being healthy. You're going to get fat anyway. That's a crazy blueprint, and you don't have to have it.
It's incredible what these beliefs do to us. Now let's go on to rule number 5. We act in a way that is consistent with how we define ourselves.
Every thought you think has a physical reaction and an emotional response in your body. That's actually very good news indeed, because it means if you think good thoughts, you get good emotional responses. And if you think bad thoughts, you get bad emotional responses. Your thoughts are real. Your words form your reality. When you say, I can't cope with my job, this 405 freeway is killing me, I'm dying under the paperwork, it's hell in the store, my kids are a nightmare. These are very powerful words. And I know you don't mean it, but your mind believes you must mean it. Your job is killing you. The best thing it can do is give you an ulcer so you don't have to go back to that job that you keep telling it is killing you. My kids are driving me insane. They're not. They're just challenging you. But if you keep saying that, you start to react that way. And all you have to do is change the word. So let's imagine you say, my kids are a nightmare, my husband is unreasonable, even the cat is hell, it's always shedding hair everywhere, and my house is a constant mess. Let's imagine you change that word. My kids are age appropriate, my husband is a challenge, but we love each other. The cat, well, it's the cat, and I'm lucky to own this home. Everything will change. Your home is the same, your cat, your kids, your husband are the same. But if you just change some words, I had a client whose favorite word was hell. It's hell, the job's hell, the commute's hell, people look at me, that's hell. It was all a nightmare. And when I got her to say, I have phenomenal coping skills, her whole world changed. because she just changed her language. And I said, when you keep saying, this is torture, this is hell, your body's reacting as if you really are experiencing torture and hell. I've never known torture to be in a store, unless it's in Zimbabwe where there's no food. You can't go to Hughes Market and go, this is hell, when you have a credit card and money to buy food, because that is someone else's fantasy dream come true. And if you're saying that going to the store is hell, then everything in your life is hell. So people go, oh, there's no hot water, what a nightmare. Oh, I forgot to tape my favorite show, what a disaster. I was on a plane a couple of years ago. This woman came back to her seat and went, oh my God, disaster. The stewardess ran up. What is it? She said, my movie didn't pause when I went to the bathroom. It's like, and when was that a disaster on an aeroplane? That's just mildly inconvenient. But we use these powerful words and we get powerful negative responses. And when you learn to stop that and go, that's a challenge, that's an issue, they're not powerful. You don't get these powerful negative responses. So every thought you think has a physical reaction. Think great thoughts, think powerful thoughts, and you will get a powerful reaction. You know, if you're about to go and speak somewhere, you go, oh my God, I'm dreading it, it's terrifying, it's hell, you will have a hellish, terrifying time on stage because you made that happen. And if you go, well, I love speaking to people, I've got something to say, and I'm really engaging, you'll have a really engaging time. You get to choose, and here's the best choice of all. You can choose to use great language, you can choose to use terrible language. That's your choice. You know what you can't choose? What happens to your body when you use terrible language? The ulcers, the stress, the anxiety, you can't choose that. So you can choose to say whatever you want, but you can't choose what happens to you when you go the negative way and say everything's hell, it's a disaster, it's a nightmare, this is killing me, I just want to die because my kid spilt some crumbs on the floor. That's crazy. We know it's crazy, and yet we still do it, but I'm going to teach you how to never even think of doing that again, and then you'll have an amazing life.
Thank you, Marisa. So there are some dramatic instances of these rules coming together to truly shift someone's life. And also I want you guys to know it's not just 5 rules, there's a whole series of different rules that are in play when you're working with your subconscious. But these were the 5 we wanted to give you an insight to on this masterclass, because you can instantly start taking action on this. So tell me about that client of yours that's the artist.
Oh yes, I had this girl who wrote to me and said, I really want to train with you. I teach people my method. I train doctors and therapists and regular people how to do what I do. And she said, I want to train with you so badly, but I'm a poor, starving artist. I don't have enough money. And I think she was angling for a free place. And I sent her a recording about how to attract wealth. And she said, you know, the amazing thing is, I suddenly started to sell lots of paintings. Someone rang me up and commissioned a mural. And when I listened to your recording, I tripled my prices. And when I charged more, people valued my work more. And I'm selling so much stuff, and I've now got the money.
And that was from a recording that helped her remove her abundance block.
I didn't know her. I never met her. Yeah.
Now, what about that woman you mentioned who found her mate?
Yeah, so I did a recording on how to attract love, and this girl wrote to me and said, this is the weirdest thing. I live in an apartment block and I listened to your recording, and one day I got in the lift, or elevator, and this guy started to talk to me and went, wow, you have this kind of magnetic air, there's just something, I've really got to know you. And they started dating, and she said, what's so weird is I've been in that lift for a year, and so has he, and he'd never noticed me. But when I played that recording, it said I had this magnetic animal magnetism, and I was super attractive. And it obviously works because I met a guy who lived in my building. We must have seen each other before. But what happened with her is she switched on her belief that she was attractive. And you see our thoughts radiate out from us and back to us like a magnet, people that pick up and return our thinking. When you think you're third rate, you're anonymous, you're not worth being with, other people pick that up. When you think you're extraordinary and radiant and gorgeous, they pick that up too. another example of you can think whatever you want, but you might as well think great thoughts because they give you great things.
That's beautifully said. So an important thing to understand here is that a lot of this is in your control. Yes, many of you may have gone through a childhood that was less than perfect, and it was not your fault that dangerous beliefs, sabotaging beliefs may have been installed in you as a child. And remember, many psychologists say that these beliefs are most pressed into us at the age of 9 and under. But as adults, we can make a choice to remove these beliefs, to overwrite them, to install positive beliefs that can shift your life. And the question you want to ask yourself is, do you want to continue living life as it is right now into the next 40 years, or do you want to start making a shift? So there are 4 primary areas that we look at when we're working with Marisa Peer, and it is wealth, it is health, it is relationships, and it is your mindset, because your mindset governs, it governs so many other aspects about you, from your confidence to how you see yourself, to what projects you tackle in the world. But I want you to know that in all of these areas, you can go deep and you can shift beliefs. Now, you heard about what happened to these clients of Marisa when they listened to that audio, the woman who found her mate, the artist who was suddenly able to make money. So the good news is, those of you who are enrolling in our program with Marisa Peer, 35-day program, you're going to get 5 audios like the ones we just spoke about that help you go deep and install positive beliefs in 5 unique, powerful, important areas of your life. More on that in a bit. So I hope you enjoyed those 5 powerful ideas on the rules of programming your subconscious. And if you had difficulty remembering that, don't worry about it, because it's in Marisa's 35-day program with Mindvalley. But for now, what we want to do is actually treat you to a rapid transformational hypnotherapy session with Marisa Peer. Hope you guys are ready. We're about to get started. Now, it's important that you do this in a safe space. Don't be driving a car or operating heavy machinery while doing this. You want to be in a nice, quiet area, have your eyes closed, and listen. And don't worry, you are not being hypnotized in a way that could be against your will. You're going to be conscious the entire time. You'll hear what Marisa is saying, and you decide what you want to believe, what action you want to take, and you can choose to decide how you want to respond to Marisa's words. But you are in full control. We ready to get started?
Absolutely ready. And Vishen is quite right. If you could be made to do what you didn't want to do, every hypnotist on the planet would be a multi-millionaire, because they could all make you pay them way more money, and they don't do that. It is very important to make sure dogs and cats are out of the room, phones are switched off, quickly go to the bathroom. Just make sure that you're not going to be disturbed, and sit in a place where you feel comfortable. I like it if you can sit back and have your neck supported, uncross your hands and feet, and just get ready to enjoy about 20 minutes of something very powerful. Now, I know all of you out there may think, well, I want something different to someone else. That's okay. We have, as children, unmet needs, and we go through life believing that these needs are never going to be met. Today, you're going to learn that you can meet all of them and become very successful. So, because this is about abundance, I'm going to be counting you back to a time in your life where you began to form beliefs that you couldn't have what you wanted. That could be health or wealth. It could be a relationship. I'm going to talk about abundance, but you will know exactly which area I'm talking about. And also, you're not consciously doing this. Your subconscious mind, as I speak, will start to identify and locate the scenes in your life that programmed you badly. And you're going to go back and have a look at that, and then we're going to unpick it. And it's a bit like being a detective and a dentist. We find the scenes that caused you negative beliefs, and then we take all that toxicity and put you back together again, only way better. So don't think about it. It's what I call lose your mind and come to your senses. Just allow yourself to feel. And just one more thing. Some people think, oh, I'm going to go back and I'm going to relive all this trauma. Imagine if somebody slapped your leg when you were 7 and you go back to that. You don't feel like your leg is being slapped. It doesn't sting. You don't get tears in your eyes because you cannot relive anything. You can only review it, make sense of it, get your aha moment, and then become free. So let's begin. And when I hypnotize people, I like to do it this way. I like people to look up like that, keep their eyeballs up, and close the lids down. So I'm just going to practice this with you first. Let's have a quick practice run so you know you can do it. All I want you to do is to roll up your eyes like that, as if you're trying to look into your own eyebrows. And the skill is to keep your eyeballs up, but simultaneously close your eyelids down. Do that again. Look up, keep your eyeballs up, but close the lids down. If you can do that, you will go into the most fabulous state of RTT hypnosis. So let's all do it together. Open your eyes. I want you to make sure you're comfortable, uncross your ankles and separate your hands, just so you don't do this kind of thing. Look up as high as you can, as if you're looking into your own hairline, keeping your eyes rolled up. Breathe in, breathe out. Take another deep breath, breathe in. Every time you blink, deep, powerful hypnosis is coming upon you. Hold it, breathe out. One more time, breathe in. The more you blink, the more deeply you're getting ready to go into this safe, beautiful, healing level of hypnosis. Hold it more. Keep your eyeballs up, keeping your eyeballs up. Just close your eyelids right down, all the way down. As your eyelids shut down, you'll notice a fluttering sensation in your eyes that's occurring all by itself, and that's fine. You can just let that happen. I want you to forget all about the position of your eyeballs, and I want you to drop your chin down so you get that same looking down feeling that you might get as you look over a balcony, as you look down a flight of stairs. And as I count, you're going to see your feet, hear your feet, and feel your feet connecting to each step. Right now, your feet are moving on to step 10 as you go deep into an awareness of yourself, a safe awareness of yourself. You are taking step 9, and each muscle and every nerve is turning loose and letting loose, and you are going deeper. You're taking step 8, going deeper into an awareness of yourself. You're taking step 7, drifting way down deep. You're taking step 6. As each muscle, every nerve turns loose, lets loose, and you go deeper. You're taking step 5, going deeper, deeper, even deeper into such a powerful, healing, pleasant level of hypnosis. You're taking step 4, you are going deeper with every heartbeat. You're taking step 3, and every sound and noise and movement around you is carrying you deeper, further into this healing level of hypnosis. You're taking step 2, going deeper and even deeper still. You're taking step 1, just go deeper, drift deeper, sink deeper. Every time I click my fingers and say the words go deeper, drift deeper, sink deeper, you're going deeper, so much deeper into a healing, powerful, revealing level of hypnosis. It can only make everything in your life better. So as you go deeper, deeper, and even deeper still, way down deep, you know already that you were born with an unlimited capacity for abundance. In your mother's womb, you had everything. It was always warm, all your needs were met, and you were born with a belief, all my needs will be met all the time. And then something happened that changed that belief, that good belief, everything I want is available to me, to a different belief, my needs aren't met, and maybe they'll never be met, and I don't get to have what I want. I'm going to count backwards from 5 to 1. Your brilliant mind is already busy locating exactly how, where, why, and when you acquired a belief that your needs couldn't be met, that your needs for abundance would not be met, and that you couldn't meet them either. And your mind already knows exactly which scenes you need to look at. It's already finding them. And as I count back, you're going to pop into that screen. It's as if I'm going to switch on a TV set. It's going to warm up and you are right in the middle of it. And it's all going to happen without any effort from you at all. So right now, on the count of 5, your brilliant mind is taking you back to a vivid, vital, crucial, significant scene where you began to believe that your needs could not and would not be met ever. On the count of 4, you are becoming younger, smaller, lighter, shorter. On the count of 3, years, months, weeks, days are peeling away from your body. On the count of 2, you are drifting way back to a vivid, vital scene that is all to do with you forming a belief that says abundance is not available to you. Health or wealth or relationships are not available to you. And you are going right back to a specific scene right now, being pulled back, drawn back, taken back, going all the way back on the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just be there. As I click my fingers, it's rather like you've opened up your laptop. A picture is warming up and there you are, right in the middle of this scene. And as I ask you a series of questions, you immediately know the answer. Here's the first question. In this scene where you are now, is it daytime or is it nighttime? You absolutely know. Are you inside or are you outside? Again, you know. Are you on your own or with people? How old are you about? Again, you know. And here is the only question that matters. What are you doing, seeing, feeling, and experiencing? And now you can feel what you felt then as if it was yesterday. You can see what you saw then. You're experiencing what you experienced then. And as I click my fingers and count to 3, your ears are going to open. You're going to hear something being said to you, over you, around you, about you, that is all to do with why you got this belief that your needs aren't going to be met and that you just can't have abundance. On the count of 1, 2, and 3, your ears are open and you can hear someone saying something to you, about you, in your hearing. You can hear them saying something. I want you to take it in. And I want you to listen to what you can hear, because what you're hearing, you're just a small kid, but you're hearing something being said that is forming and shaping your belief that abundance is not available to you. So just look at that scene for a few minutes. It's really all you need. Just look over and around and through that scene. Look over, around, and through the scene where you formed a belief that you could not have abundance. Keep that scene to one side because we're going back to another one. On the count of 5, you're going back to another vivid, vital, crucial, absolutely significant scene that is all to do again with where you formed a belief a powerful yet limiting belief that you could not get or keep abundance. You're becoming younger, smaller, lighter, shorter. Years, months, weeks, days are peeling away from your body. You're drifting right back right now. You're becoming younger, smaller, lighter, shorter, drifting back, being pulled back, taken back, moved back, all the way back. Go right back, just be there. And as I click my fingers, again is seen as springing into your mind. It's like you've switched on the television screen, the picture is warmed up, and there you are in that picture in a powerful scene that is all to do with how, where, why, when you formed these beliefs, that you couldn't get your needs met. You couldn't have abundance. As I ask you a question, you know the answer. This scene you're in now, is it daytime or nighttime? You know. Are you inside or outside? Are you on your own, or is anybody with you? How old are you about? And here's the only question that matters. What are you doing, seeing, feeling? What are you experiencing? Feel what you felt then. Experience what you experienced then. See what you saw then. And as your ears open on the count of 1, 2, and 3, you can hear exactly what you heard then. And as you look at this scene, you're beginning to see, oh, when I was just a few years old, when I was certainly just a kid, maybe 3, maybe 9, maybe 11, I saw things with the mind of a child. I experienced it with a belief system of a child. And I want you to look at that scene and understand how, where, why, and when you got this belief that your needs can't be met, that you can't get what you want, that the abundance of wealth or love or health is just not available to you, and you're beginning to see it right now. So again, look over, look around, look right through that scene as you understand how that scene shaped you, how it influenced you, how it affected you. I want you to keep that scene in your hand as if you're holding a DVD of it, and we're going to do this just one more time. On the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you are becoming younger, smaller, lighter, shorter. Years, months, weeks, days are peeling away from your body. You're drifting right back to a vivid, vital, crucial scene that is all to do with where you got these limiting beliefs. You are drifting back, traveling back, moving back, being pulled back right now. Just be there. One more time, a picture is swimming into your consciousness, filling up your mind. This scene in your mind, is it daytime or nighttime? Are you inside or outside? Alone or with people? How old are you about? And here's the only question that matters. What are you doing, seeing, feeling, and experiencing? I want you to see what you saw then, feel what you felt then, experience what you experienced then. Here, on the count of 1, 2, and 3, because your ears are open, what you heard then. And I want you to look over and around and right through that scene and see, oh, of course, when I was just a kid, I believed that. I thought that, I felt that. So I want you to look at each scene now. Take the first scene and the second scene and put them together with the third scene. And as you look at these 3 scenes, understanding is power. I want you to understand, I know you understand, that when you'd been on the planet for just a few years, when you had a few years of life experience, when you had the reasoning of a child, you formed beliefs, you came to conclusions, you made assumptions. I just can't get people to love me. I don't know how to make this better. I can't find money to help my parents. I need something and I don't know how to get it. And because you're a small child, you know what else you did? I can't get my needs met. And it will always be this way. I don't know how to make things better. And it will be like this for the rest of my life. I can't get people to love me, ever, ever. And now I want you one more time to look around those scenes and understand the truth. That was true when you were that child. It made sense when you were that child. You made meaning of a situation with the experience, the life experience of a child. But you're not that child, and that's not you. And to break that negative belief, that limiting belief forever, I want you to go back to scene 1. And I want you to say out loud to me, as if you're right in front of me, that's not me because. And I want you to say something along the lines of, that's not me because I'm not 4. I don't live with a depressed mother. I don't live with an alcoholic dad. I'm not the kid at school with glasses or freckles or no lunch money. That's not me because. You must justify this to yourself out loud right now. I want you to shout it out. That's not me because. Finish that sentence right now. And again, that will never be me ever again because. And one more time, that cannot be me ever again because. And now let's go straight on to scene 2. Look over and around and through that scene. Understand that any kid living what you lived would have believed what you believed, thought what you thought, felt what you felt, but it's not you. Shout out, that's not me because. That will never be me ever again because. Finish that sentence. Justify it out loud. One more time, that cannot be me ever again because. Add in the because. This is super important. This is interrupting an unhealthy belief. It is shattering, smashing, ending an unhealthy belief. It's not me because. Fantastic. Let's go to the 3rd scene. Look over and around and through that scene. And I want you to say with unshakable, unwavering conviction, that is not me because. Finish that sentence now. That cannot be me ever again for the rest of my life because. Justify it to me. Justify it out loud to yourself. That will never be me ever again because. Fantastic. And of course you can do this over and over again. And as you go deeper for just a few more minutes, I want you to understand that when you were just a little kid, you formed beliefs. And that's okay, but here's something even more powerful to understand. You are not that little kid. You are a smart, beautiful, talented, lovable adult. And as the beautiful, talented, lovable adult that you are, it will never again for the rest of your long life be necessary or relevant or even appropriate for you to think what you thought then, to believe what you believe then, or to feel what you felt then. Those beliefs are gone. They are shattered, smashed, erased, eradicated out of your life. They're so far behind you. They're like vapor that you can't run and pick up even if you want to, because from now on and for the rest of your life, these beliefs will only be something you used to have once upon a lifetime ago. And they can never ever influence you again, because now every day you move on from one fantastic accomplishment to another. Every day you grow in confidence, in abundance, in powerful, enriching self-beliefs. Every day you understand your mind influences your body. and you influence your mind. You have made up your mind, set your mind, programmed your mind, directed your mind to take you to abundance, to deliver abundance to you consistently. Your mind does what it thinks you want it to do. That's its job. And your job is to tell your mind what you want using detailed, powerful words. Do it now. Let your mind know what you insist on, what you require of yourself, what you need is, and what you want wants you, and what you are moving towards is moving towards you. So feeling elated, feeling liberated, feeling empowered, feeling extraordinary, feeling as if you have phenomenal insight and you are transformed. You're transformed now, feeling free, feeling amazing, feeling liberated, feeling empowered, feeling fully aware. Just open up your eyes and fill up your lungs and just come back to your full awareness with a level of understanding that frees you, delights you, and changes you for the better.
Wow, Marisa. So I want to be vulnerable and share with the audience watching here what I experienced, and maybe you guys experienced something similar. In the first instance, I flashed back and I saw this kid from childhood, big kid, who would bully me. I couldn't quite grasp the belief, but what I found weird is that I don't even remember, I lost all memory of this kid for decades, but now not only did I see him, but I remembered his name. I must have been 7 or 8. But I couldn't quite grasp the belief. But then the second one, I saw myself as a baby. And I was a kid, and I saw my mom and a particular aunt. And as a baby, I would cry when I was separated from my mother. And I remember my mom and my aunt and my mom separating me from my mother and putting me in a cot, right? And so I could feel that, and I saw myself as a baby in that cot, making a conclusion that my mother didn't really love me as much, or that she loved me once and now she was done. Because I was no longer sleeping next to her, I'd now been transferred to a cot. And what I realized is that even into adulthood, in every relationship I'm in, after a while I start doubting if the other person loves me, and I start thinking that they're done with me, right? And it was kind of weird, but it was weird for me to be able to regress to being a baby. Now in the third one, I was in kindergarten. I couldn't quite grasp what was the belief. The scene was a little bit fuzzy. I think at that point I was getting a little bit too deep into it, and I was falling in and out of sleep. But it was astounding that a name from childhood could come up, and it was a real epiphany for me to understand how I'm self-sabotaging relationships I get into. So thank you for that. Thank you for messing with my mind publicly in front of everyone. So thank you for joining us, guys. I'm still coming out of that. But what I want you guys to know is that our program with Marisa is a truly unique program. As you can see, Marisa works with many of the world's greatest, highest performers. And if they are working with her, you know that the results she's able to get with people is truly at an astounding level. Now, our program actually brings Marisa to you every day for 35 days. It's called a quest because it's not an online course. You see, the program starts on a specific date. It's like a lecture you would take at a university. All the students start together. And this is what's happening here. We will have close to 2,000 to 3,000 students starting together on a specific date. The date is below this video. You will see full information on the program. We're going to have you start together. And for every day for 35 days, Marisa's going to come on our app, Mindvalley Quest, and it's going to teach you a little bit about how to bring rapid transformational hypnotherapy into your life. You will go deep into different beliefs, and in different time periods of this 35-day program, we will explore each of the 4 big areas: your mindset, your abundance, your relationship, your health. Now what's going to happen is that our quest, our really powerful method that gets 500% better completion rate than online courses. We don't do online courses anymore at Mindvalley. So if you've ever bought an online program and not completed it, don't worry about this. Because of how it's engineered, there's a 500% better chance you'll complete it. Because every day, for just a few minutes, so 5 to 20 minutes a day, we're going to stack on different programming, different belief, different behaviors. And by the end of 35 days, we help you remove so much of the baggage we've been carrying with us as negative beliefs from childhood. Now, the teaching here is truly unique. The exercises are amazing, but one of the best things you're going to get from this is that thousands of our students come together in an online community. And you'll find that we install tribe facilitators over there who are very charismatic. You can think of them as your teacher assistants in a university, and they help create dialogue, they help support you with your questions, so you don't actually go through this alone. It truly is more than just an online course. It's an entire coaching program with real-life human beings helping you along for 35 days. And because of this concept we call micro-learning, where you don't need to carve out large chunks of time, you can listen to this in your commute, you can watch it on the Apple TV version of the app when you get back from work. It's just 5 to 20 minutes a day. But the impact it's going to make in your life is truly amazing. So if you enjoyed the exercise, if you enjoyed the insights from Marisa, you're really going to love this. And as a bonus, you get 5 audios that's going to take you deep in 5 different rapid transformational hypnotherapy sessions, which are going to have a profound impact on your life. And you can listen to these over and over again, and they bring out and they clear you of blocks that could be holding you back. So I'd love for you to look into this. Now, if you were to get a session with a hypnotherapist, if you were one of the people who joined this because you were looking for a hypnotherapist, know that hypnotherapists are great, but it's a big investment of time because you might go back 5 to 10 sessions and you're spending thousands upon thousands of dollars. Here, you basically are not going to just resolve one thing. We're going to go deep into different areas of your life. You might end up resolving 12, 15, 20 different things. But more than that, it's going to change your mindset. And the ideas you're going to learn here, you get to share these with your family, with your friends. You become a new you. And what I want you to do is to check below this video for all the information on this program. Many of you may be wondering what the program looks like. Stay tuned because we're going to go into a quick Q&A, and then we're going to actually give you one of the day's sessions from the program. This actually comes from week 4, and you'll get to experience it firsthand so you get an idea of what this program is like. And I also want you to know that if you want to enroll, don't worry, because the way Mindvalley works is you can enroll in any of our programs and you can go through the entire program up to day 10 completely risk-free. Anytime before day 10, go ahead, and if you feel you want a refund because there's something you don't like, maybe the quality of the audio or something, just shoot one email to support@mindvalley.com and you get a full unconditional refund. So you don't even have to make up your mind right now. Just click enroll so you can at least get started and you can experience what this program is like. You can be in the community, you can see the high quality production, you can interact with our tribe facilitators and even ask them questions. And one of the things about our Mindvalley community is we have a very loyal community of students that support each other. As soon as you get into the program, go to that Facebook group and share a belief that might be holding you back. Share your dreams, share your goals, and watch how many people are going to jump in and comment and support you and help hold your hand. It is truly a remarkable community that we have built here, from loyal students who are dedicated to personal growth and dedicated to helping one another. So, a lot of people go into these programs to shift their beliefs to become a better you. Indirectly, they also end up meeting really, really, really close friends. So don't worry about making a decision. Just enroll. You can try this out for the first 10 days completely risk-free. Marisa, what I'd love to do is to give people an idea of what the program is going to be like.
So what the program's like is you come on every day, there's 5 weeks, and for the first 5 days, I give you a lesson. I don't like the word lesson. This is not like being in school. This is powerful, profound, cutting edge revelations, if you like, learning about yourself, learning how you got shaped and learning how to reshape yourself. And after you've had that 15 to 20 minute video, you have an exercise to do, but again, it's fun. It's something that challenges and changes your mind. You know what neuroplasticity is. It's getting the mind to change, and it's actually quite effective when you know how, and then you get to go into the tribe and share your experiences, because or maybe you don't, if you work in a group and commit and have accountability, your chance of succeeding goes up by a whopping 80%. When you commit to a group, you're going to do something, your chance of doing it goes up by a staggering amount, and that's why the tribe help to keep you accountable. You share experiences, it makes it even better. And every week you get a hypnotic session of rewiring audio to listen to in those 5 areas, and it truly is groundbreaking. And like Vishen said, his wife got over a fear of flying just from listening to an audio. People write to me and said, my kid passed all their exams because I bought your audio on how to take in information and study. So if just having the audio can change you, and you've never met me, imagine what 35 days of having me in your living room talking to you about some really powerful stuff that you didn't know. Even doctors say, wow, we didn't know this stuff because they're taught differently. I learned everything from my clients. I witnessed profound changes and took them to other clients and witnessed it again. And now I teach other people to do what I do. So you're going to learn powerful techniques that wire in change over 35 days. And every lesson segues into the next lesson, and they all kind of layer upon themselves, so you can change in every area. And the best thing of all is you keep that change, not for a little while, but forever.
Now, the beautiful thing about Mindvalley Quest is that we truly designed the world's most advanced learning system. It's now being deployed in schooling systems for nations like Finland. It's being deployed for employees of billion-dollar companies. And the reason is Mindvalley Quest is getting 500% or more completion rate in its programs because of the way of the quality of the instruction, the quality of the technology in the app, and the community that we bring in. Now, I want to give you guys an idea of what we're going to be covering in each of the 4 different areas. So under mindset, you're going to learn and remove what's sabotaging your success and abundance. And it certainly comes from the perception of yourself and the world around you that was accidentally installed in you as a child. When we get to health, you're going to learn to deal with body image issues. If you have trouble with food addiction, we'll help remove that. If you have bad habits that impact your health, or you're just not feeling confident about your body, we help erase those negative beliefs. When it comes to wealth, you learn how to elevate your career, how to get to that next level of abundance, how to make a business you might be running that's maybe stagnant, how to make that successful. That's what happened to me when I started working with Marisa. I got to the next level in my income. It was amazing how when my wealth mindset changed, my business suddenly started taking off. When it comes to relationship, you're going to build better rapport and connection with people around you. You'll build better relationship skills. Your confidence will go up. Your neediness goes down. If you are struggling in a relationship, this could be just what you need to remove the blocks that might be accidentally sabotaging you. And that's what makes this so powerful. So it's 35 chapters, 1 video per day, bite-sized learning, 10 to 20 minutes. Every day we apply a concept called behavioral stacking. So at the end of 35 days, you've truly transformed. At the end of each week, you have a 20 to 30 minute downloadable rapid transformational therapy session for that week. But you can re-listen to this anytime you want. And you're learning as part of a community. The program starts on a specific day. You must join before that day because when the class opens, we need everyone to go through it together. Now, the good news is this program is so affordable because remember, we've designed our programs to be mass deployable in schools and communities, and we want to ensure that this is available to people who cannot afford to spend $1,000 or $2,000 on a hypnotherapy session. So you can get into this program for just a couple of $100. And as a thank you for spending the last hour plus with us, you're going to unlock a special discount on this page. So whatever you do, do not close this page. This is the best price you will be able to get this program. And keep the page open if you're still deciding, but enroll from this page for the best discount. So before we give you the free bonus chapter from the program, and you get to experience firsthand what this is like, we have a couple of questions that came in from our community. So these are common questions, Marisa. And these are questions from people who are tuning in. And the first question is, I don't believe you can heal life traumas in such a short period of time. I believe it would probably take years. How is RTT this effective?
Yes, it's a shame people believe that. I've worked with people with physical ailments. I worked with someone with a hearing problem, as you say, your vision. I worked with a man who stopped wearing reading glasses in 20 minutes. I worked with people with multiple allergies who give them up. Because often when we have these symptoms, they have what I call a role and a function and a purpose. The mind thinks they're useful. When you go back and understand that role and get rid of it, change can happen like that, and it is indeed very powerful. And people do find it really hard to believe because it's almost too good to be true, but it is good, and it's certainly true.
And I want you to keep in mind, there are a lot of people out there who make these claims which are ridiculous. But here we are talking about Marisa Peer, who just lectured at the Royal School of Medicine in London and taught at the New York Academy of Medicine and was voted one of Britain's top 250 best doctors. And certainly, if Marisa was making claims that could not be met, she wouldn't have been given these distinctions.
Yeah, and what's so cool is that many of the people, I worked with a girl who had this very rare genetic disorder in front of 7 doctors who couldn't quite believe how easily she changed, and now I taught her my method, and now she treats veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder and is getting phenomenal results because she couldn't believe it. Even her doctor couldn't believe it. In fact, I trained a doctor in Edinburgh who's given up her practice entirely as a doctor and is now only an RTH hypnotherapist. She said, even as a doctor, I never got these results because I was never looking for the cause. I was just treating symptoms. I had an amazing policewoman who trained with me and said, you know, I wanted to help people, but I ended up locking up drunks, and now I work doing what you do, and it's amazing. So it isn't just that I can do it, it's the technique.
So the main thing I want you guys to understand is that medical science is finding that our beliefs have a far bigger influence on our body than we have thus known to be true. Think about the study I shared about Dr. J.B. Moseley, who was able to prove that arthritis surgery is unnecessary and that the mind can be tricked to heal a condition of the knee that we once believed required surgery. So it is incredible what our minds can do when we apply the right tools to it. Now, the second question, Marisa, is what's the difference between Uncompromised Life, which is your original program with Mindvalley, and that's on self-esteem, and this program?
So Uncompromised Life is a program that deals solely with self-esteem, and the teaching method is different too, and it's a powerful, powerful program. But this one deals with the 4 issues that people present over and over again. I can't find and keep love. I have wealth blocks that hold me back and I can't have the success I want. My health suffers, or I know it's about mindset, but I don't know how to get it. And so this is 4 problems that almost everyone has, and they come up with these blocks over and over again. And it's a different way of teaching too. It's the shorter blocks of teaching, the layering, the tribe, the connection. So I love Uncompromised Life. It's extraordinary, but it deals with self-esteem, and this deals with abundance blocks. So they're very different, very different.
This question is, I prefer to deal with my traumas by forgetting them and letting them go.
Yeah.
Is this a reasonable solution?
It would be great if you could forget, but the mind never forgets because it keeps score, and when you suppress something, it actually starts to motivate you, and it comes back years later, often as depression or anxiety. So it would be great if we could all forget, but clearly that doesn't really work, or I wouldn't have the clients I have.
True, you don't forget these.
No.
You may be unaware that the blocks are in you, but you don't forget it. Now the next question is rapid transformational hypnotherapy a permanent fix for my problems? Could they re-emerge in my life?
No, it's absolutely permanent, because rapid transformational hypnotherapy is not treating symptoms. It's treating the cause of a symptom. It's uncovering the roots of a symptom and removing those roots. And I promise you, those issues do not come back. It's a very common belief, but they don't come back.
Now, the final question is, to improve my relationship, do I have to take this program with a partner, or is it enough if I simply do it?
No, you can take it with your partner if you want to. It's a great thing to do, but many people don't have a partner to take it with. So you can take it just for yourself, whether you're single, in a relationship that's good, or even not good. just do it yourself and it will make everything better. But you could take it with a partner if you wish to.
So you guys ready to get started? All you got to do is below this video, click enroll, and you can get started and go straight into the program. Now, because the starting date hasn't yet begun, what will happen is when you click enroll, you'll get access to the program on your computer, but also on the app, on Apple TV, on your tablet, and there'll be warm-up exercises. There'll be a collection of videos under warm-up where you learn some of the basics of rapid transformational hypnotherapy. And then pay attention to the start date, mark it down in your calendar. That's when we start this incredible adventure together, you and thousands of other students, and you're all going to be connected in a Facebook group with Mindvalley Tribe facilitators there to support you, to get you going, and you will see that they are experienced Mindvalley students, people who have taken Marisa's earlier program, people who are trained in these, who are there to hold your hand, and they do this just out of love. Our community is really all about giving and sharing, so it's truly an amazing experience, and I cannot wait to hear your stories. You've heard some incredible stories, including from world-class footballers, world-class writers, people you see on television, especially if you live in Marisa's country, the United Kingdom. Imagine one day you could be one of these stories too. Marisa has had a profound impact on my life. I've written about her in my book more than any other teacher, and there were about 20-30 teachers in that book. I can't wait to see and to hear about what these rapid transformational hypnotherapy sessions will do for your life as you go into the world free of the beliefs, the baggage that you may be carrying as a child unknowingly. So thank you guys for tuning in. Below this video you'll find all the information you need. Click enroll, and I can't wait to see you in our 35-day program with Marisa Peer. Marisa, any closing words?
I can't wait to help you be the person you've always wanted to be. You're just a click away from it. Can't wait to see you in that program and show you how to change your life forever. See you there.
Thank you guys.